I didn't start drinking in crowded basements with the other kids or at school or college parties. I started at home, in a place that was supposed to feel safe, familiar, and controlled. Sometimes it felt anything but. For me, alcohol wasn't something that I discovered somewhere out in the world. I learned quietly without anyone ever having to sit me down. It was something I inherited. And for a long time, I thought that that was normal. Normal to have numerous trips to get your stomach pumped with your friends. Even more normal to grab a dub chub on a weekday after you've blacked out and be drunk all day at high school. During this season of teenage angst and awkward life, my father's health started to completely fail. He was poisoning himself. He was losing liters of fluid from his stomach, sometimes 5, 6, and 7 liters at a time being pulled off. He was having amputations. As you can see in the photos behind me, he's wearing diabetic socks. Alcohol was poisoning him, yet he still could not put down the bottle until I did. I didn't expect that my own decision to get sober would ripple outward. That in my own struggle, something I did to better myself would become a mirror for someone who I had watched my entire life, my daddy. When we think about generational change, we usually talk about technology, politics, maybe culture, but there's another shift happening quietly, not one that's changing families, communities, and the future. Sobriety. Not shame-based sobriety, not forced sobriety, but chosen sobriety. And it has been coined as the sober generation. For decades, alcohol has been a rite of passage. We toast with it, we escape with it, we even bond over it. It's in our commercials, it's in our holidays, it's in our jokes. There's a whole wine mom culture. Hey, wanna grab a beer after work? Shots for the weekends, girlies. Drinking wasn't just normal, it was expected. And all of we've been aware of the statistics too. Alcohol contributes to over 178,000 deaths a year in the United States alone, making it one of the leading preventable causes of death. But something interesting is happening right now. More people are continuing to ask a revolutionary question. What if we didn't need alcohol at all? And that question is changing everything. Since I can recall, sobriety was framed as something you only did after things went wrong. You had to hit rock bottom. You had to lose something. You had to earn sobriety through suffering. In the sober generation, we're flipping that script. We're saying sobriety, it's not a punishment, it's a choice. It's a choice for clarity, it's a choice for health, it's a choice for presence, a choice for breaking cycles that families have carried for ages. And alcohol consumption among young adults has declined significantly in the past 2 decades. In fact, nearly 50% of Gen Z adults report actively trying to reduce or eliminate alcohol consumption completely. Plus, for many of us, alcohol was never just a drink. at least not for me. It was a coping mechanism. Stressed, reach for a beer. Celebrating literally anything, raise a glass. Hurt, have another. Trust me, it numbs the pain. Entire emotional toolkits were being built around numbing out. But this community, they're doing something incredibly brave. They're choosing to feel everything. The joy, the pain, the anxiety, the healing. Research actually shows that alcohol use is linked with increased anxiety, depression, and sleep deprivation, even at just moderate levels. And here's my favorite part. The sober generation, it is not defined by age. It's not just Gen Z. It's millennials who are tired of hangovers and anxiety. It's parents who want to break cycles before their children inherit them. It's veterans, professionals, students, creatives, people who looked around and realized something important. Alcohol was taking more than it was giving. And so they stepped out of the current. Not loudly, not always perfectly, but intentionally. You see, changing a paradigm doesn't happen through massive revolutions. It happens through thousands of quiet decisions. The decision to order a sparkling water instead of a drink. The decision to leave environments that revolve around intoxication. The decision to say, I'm good without it. And those choices may seem small, but culturally, they're huge. Because every time someone chooses sobriety openly, it does something powerful. It gives permission. Permission for the person standing next to them who was questioning their own relationship with alcohol. Permission for someone who thought that alcohol or that sobriety meant isolation. Permission for someone who thought they were maybe the only one. Right now, 23 million adults are living in recovery in the United States. That is about 9.1% of our entire population. And this is where the paradigm truly begins to shift. Because for generations, alcohol was tied to identity. The life of the party, the tough drinker, or me, myself, and I, as I break my remote, the social butterfly. But the sober generation is redefining identity. They're discovering something surprising. You don't lose yourself without alcohol. You actually find yourself. You actually meet yourself. Your real humor, your real creativity, your real boundaries, and your real relationships. Because when alcohol leaves the equation, authenticity steps in. And authenticity changes everything. Let's also talk about the ripple effect. By now, you probably realize that when one person gets sober, it doesn't just affect them, it affects their family, their friends, their children. Kids grow up seeing adults regulate emotions without substances. Friends realize connection doesn't require intoxication. Communities begin building spaces around well-being. Sober social spaces are expanding. Not because people are boring, but because people are awake. Awake to their mental health, awake to trauma cycles, awake to the power of clarity. Just last month, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to be a committee member for a camp built totally around sober community. Supporting this entire journey, my amazing husband, who too is now sober, And my sister and father watching our children for an entire week. Yes, you heard that right, my father watching my children for an entire week, something I never thought possible. Next month, me, my sister, and husband are also leading a sober camp in Canada as well. So in this new era, we are also redefining strength. For a while there, we confused strength with tolerance. Tolerance for numbing out, tolerance for just getting through. We used to ask, how much can you handle? But now the question is changing. How fully can you live? Because real strength isn't pushing away your problems. It's facing them. Real strength isn't fitting into a culture that harms you. It's having the courage to step outside of it. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do in a room full of drinks is simply say, no, thank you. Plus, nowadays, mocktail menus are growing, making it so much easier to feel social without the buzz. In fact, the non-alcoholic beverage market is projected to grow globally 30% in the next 2 years. Changing a paradigm always feels uncomfortable at first. People question it, they joke about it, they push back, but every cultural shift starts with people who are willing to live differently before it becomes normal. And that's what the sober generation is doing. They're not just choosing sobriety, they're choosing presence, they're choosing mental health, they're choosing to rewrite family stories. And changing a paradigm does not require perfection. It just requires enough people choosing a new path. And this generation is doing exactly that. One decision, one alcohol-free day at a time. Not because life is easier sober. Trust me, it is not. Woo! But because it is real. And in a culture that continuously profits from our escape, choosing to be fully present, it's quite the rebellion, a powerful one. Because we're not losing anything. See, we're reclaiming everything. So before I go, I will leave you with this. My relationship has never felt healthier. My children are best friends with their papa. They're actually watching on the live stream at home with him right now. My life is continuously growing, expanding, and getting better. And around Central Michigan University and Mount Pleasant, there are so many sober social spaces expanding, and I personally would be happy to go to a meeting with you any day, anytime. Whether it's an AA or an NA meeting, I'm here for you. So behind me are a couple local resources, the 1016 Recovery Network, the peer360.com, they host local events, and then the Alano Club as well, off Fancher Street. My name is Holly Korhorn. I am 4 years sober. Thank you.